Well. As you can see on the whiteboard, there's been some chaos going on. And that chaos is the special occasion and event that is the like an anniversary event for the podcast. Like 4 days later, as of the recording of this podcast, today is 10th of March, and on 14th of March, there it will be the 4th anniversary of the Career Podcast. And for that, I decided to just start making the group discussion podcast with previous guests as a staple of the podcast. So I hope you enjoy it. There's going to be roundtable discussions as this episode you're going to watch and listen to, or there's going to be like demos even as well. We have weird cats, we have Among Us, we have Helldivers, a lot of fun stuff. And of course, let me just quickly introduce all our guests today. From left to right, as you can see on the screen, we have Any Issue from episode 204 to 204. And next we have Anna Moshek from episode 195, the only guest from second season. Yes, that's correct. And next we have Patrick, which is episode 253. And up next we have Christina Lavina Frez, which is episode 219. And of course Luhan, episode 236. So all of our guests except Anna are from the third season. And of course there's another guest coming by. I'm not going to say who, but he's from the first season of the podcast, so he's like the veteran, And with that introduction out of the way, I just quickly, want to say, that one of the main reasons that I decided to do this group discussion podcast is that I want to showcase that just because everything is in the past couple of years feels so dystopian in the industry, and I wanted to make a change that show hey, art is still fun. You can still have fun in the community and just in artwork in general. That's just one of the main pointers. But all in all, it's gonna be fun. I don't know what else to say. I'm a bit drunk. I'm sorry. But I'm not going to even edit this podcast. This podcast is going to be a lot more scuffed than the original one podcast. But without further ado, I want to ask everyone to introduce themselves. If that's okay. So I'm going to start with Annie. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself as well?
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Annie. I am German and currently reside in New York for college. I study animation, but I am a visual development artist and illustrator, and I look forward to being in the industry. I currently contribute to indie animation and work on an indie animated series called Heathens from Studio Psycho, and also working on my own projects. So I'm so honored to be here with so many amazing people and looking forward to the discussions.
All right, awesome. So up next, Anna, could you go ahead?
Hi, my name is Anna Mushak. I am a Ukrainian-born artist. Right now, I am in Germany. I'm a freelance illustrator. Mostly work at book covers and basically anything that requires an illustration. And I also do my own project right now that's no one has seen yet, and also just fun art for the internet and stuff like this. And basically, just trying to survive right now in this very, as you said, unstable moment for artists. But yeah.
All right. So up next, Patrick.
Hello, everybody. I'm Patrick. I'm from Vienna, Austria. I'm, I would say, a freelance hard surface concept sketch artist, and also part-time, I'm a high school teacher in the Austrian public school system.
Yeah. All right. Before I move into the next guest, I just want to quickly mention that, guys, you can quit the whiteboard activity. Because I'm recording on full screen right now, and it's just taking up a whole square right now, that activity. I think if everyone quits, it'll go away. As you can see, folks, we're still, figuring out the kinks of this whole recording thing. And yeah, I think, 3 more people are listening on the activity. All right, 1 more people. Right, Patrick, I think that's you.
Pardon? Say again.
On the whiteboard activity, you need to quit that.
Okay, how do I do that?
The rocket, the big rocket.
If you can't, it's fine. If you can, it's fine. No worries. All right.
Where's the big rocket?
Yeah. I'm not gonna edit anything out, by the way. It's
There is a thumbnail of the whiteboard, and then on the bottom right, there's a thing that says
Leave
leave
activity.
activity.
I
Awesome.
did it. I'm very proud of myself now.
Awesome, man.
There you
now
go.
it's perfect. Right, the screen is perfect now. All right, so up next is Christina.
Hello, I'm Cristina. I'm a character concept artist from Barcelona, but currently living in LA. I've been in the industry for more than 15 years, and previously I was working on the franchise Apex Legends, designing some legends, and currently working at Wildlight Interactive. So, entertainment, no interactive. Wildlight. Okay. Nice to be here with you.
All right, awesome. And last but not least, Luhan. Go ahead.
Hi, hey, it's Luhan. So I am from Montreal, Canada. I studied in animation, graduated 2 years ago, and I'm working as a concept artist for Eidos Montreal. Worked on some Netflix shows back then, Dr. Seuss Green Eggs and Ham Season 2, Angry Birds. Did some freelance for, my God, DreamWorks and Nickelodeon. And yeah, great to be back.
Awesome. And by the way, if you remember correctly, the last time we talked, you mentioned that you're going to tell the people in Eidos Montreal that's how much I love the Guardians of the Galaxy game, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And what was the reaction?
Yes.
They were very, very happy. Like they were like as a dev, it's always great to hear good feedback on
As they
something
should.
you worked on.
That was an amazing game. And I'm not gonna
I
show
loved
you.
Is
it too. It was great.
The-
Wait, you played
The
it
new
too?
Guardian of the Galaxy game?
Yes,
Yes.
the 2021.
I watched my husband play like the whole playthrough.
Who
It
else
was
played
so
it?
fun.
Raise hands. Who else played it? Raise hands right now.
I watched it, but I was in the
That's
couch.
awesome. Patrick, you said you played it as well? Right. Awesome.
Yay!
Yeah, that game is
yay,
amazing.
yay.
It's like at least 18 hours of like story mode content, and that's a lot for like today's standard.
I want to mention something that I noticed in the game.
Go ahead.
Oh, good.
Okay.
It's
No,
okay.
no, I really, really appreciate that male characters have a boob physics.
Oh yeah,
I noticed it like when you
Drax.
rotate them.
on Drax, right?
they have like the jiggle physics.
Yeah.
I will
It's the
go
first
tell
thing
them that.
I noticed it. But that's the first thing that I like noticed at any media, that male characters have this physics, and it was really awesome.
Oh yeah, I think Baldur's Gate 3 added to literally everything in the last couple of patches, but let's not go to that, road for now. Yes, that game was amazing, honestly. I highly recommend everyone if you're into like a fun, chill, but action-packed, cool, well-written, story-driven game. That's a highly recommended game. And they kind of, I think, really messed up on their previous title, which is a Marvel's Avengers game, which it got really bad reception, and because of that, this new game, which was in 2021, the Guardians of the Galaxy game, went under the radar. So it didn't get the attention it deserved, but it's a gem of a game. I highly love it. And I'm not gonna spoil anything from it that much, but there are some really fun, just actually bursts out laughing at some points, of the moments that happen between the characters and choices you can make, what to do to some of them at certain points. But yeah, it was a really fun game. And no, this is not me drunk talking. This is my actual opinion. Yeah. And well, here's the thing. Let's go. We have some stuff to talk today, and as I mentioned before, one thing I want to talk about is that even though right now in the industry and everything in the world things seem so hopeless and dystopian, right, let's do a thought experiment. Imagine right now, all our jobs are gone. It's a thought experiment, right? It's a thought experiment. Actually think about it. Imagine everything is done by AI. All the corporate overlords have taken over every position, and we're living a dystopian cyberpunk future right now. So my question to you is, actually deep down think about it, even if you need to close your eyes for a couple of seconds, if you really need to think, what would you do at that point? Would you still do art? Would you still, or if you don't do art, what else would you do? This is actually a really good thought experiment. I'm not talking about money, by the way. An actual, just how would you spend your time?
I can go first.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Because funny you mentioned it, because just I think a few years a few days ago I tweeted about it. I would enlist the military. Because it's how do I put it into words? What and stop me if I go on a tangent, because it's connected to a lot of things, and of course the war and everything. And since but okay, art focused. What I noticed a lot right now, and especially with the younger artists, a lot of like drama, how younger artists react to the feedback, and how it's hard to like train younger generation of artists to pursue art, especially with the fear of AI. What I've noticed is that the main reason a lot of beginners and even like the professional artists struggle with is the discipline and the right understanding of the hardship. I grew up in the military family. My father-in-law is like the colonel, so I was basically raised with this. It was toxic, but it trained the discipline, like the discipline of and being used to having a hardship and doing the things that you don't want to do, but you have to do it. So why I think that's like I really, really want to try and even if like I will go through the art will still be there. I mean, of course, it will still be there. But I want to try even like the civilian boot camps where you just being trained how to listen what to do and focus on the task. It's a lot of people can't understand how this mindset affects even your daily life and how it can help with disciplining yourself. So I lost my train of thought, but yeah, I really want to. I mean, let's not go to like the purpose of life, the dying for the right cause and everything like this. But I don't know. It's just something that I've been focusing a lot recently. Just being a part of something and I don't know, making a difference. It's not like idealistic approach to the army, to the military, but even like right now in Ukraine, they are making the new drone units, and it's really new, and a lot of people can like not try yourself, but it's something that you like something new and something that will be in the future when you like operate a drone and train as an operator. I don't know. It's. I feel like the just or maybe it comes from the childhood, just this connection to be a part of a group and to be like artists even in the team, in the development teams. How do you develop games, the management and everything like this? Like you know your part and you do your part, and in the end you produce something bigger. It's. I hope you understand what I mean. But yeah, this is just something that's
Yeah.
yeah.
And Christina, want to go ahead with next?
For me, I would dedicate my life to dogs. sounds very like this, but
Love
like,
that answer.
I would never. That's something that I know for sure. I would never stop doing art. It's like it's part of who I am. It's part of my life. It's part of me. So even if it's for no money, like if that suddenly we don't get to do this as a job anymore, fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But if that's the case, I would never stop doing art. But I think I would dedicate my life into helping animals and just being part of a community. A little bit what you were saying, Anna, because it's like I think being part of something larger, even when you are doing games, at the end you are part of something, right? Or movies or whatever it is that you do, right? But you are part of a project, you're part of a community. So I think that would be what I would do. I think I would just rescue dogs and help dogs.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's both of what you said is kind of like, a really interesting point that, it's really fun to have like, personal challenges and missions and goals you want to do in life, but it's also a lot more fun when you have a community that you can vibe with and, have the same energy and, frequency that you have like, like a same goal as each other and you all try working hard towards that. And when you accomplish that, that's such a, just a, I don't know how to describe it, but it's such like a nice feeling.
It's
Yeah.
because like the human is a social
course.
like animal, and even the like the rescue of the animals, the being part of the something, just the group of people. It brings something that's like this primal in you, I guess, something that was with you through the thousands of years, and this connection. I feel like it's like really, really important because of like in the age of technology, we kind of lose it. And especially after the COVID, was everyone was just stuck in home. This just being a part of the humanity, I guess, it's something that's really, really important. And not a lot of people, guess, just feel it right now. And that's why it's like hard to describe, because it's not something you think actively about.
Yeah, definitely. And up next, we have Annie. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, first of all, I definitely see how destructive AI could be to people's mentalities, especially artists, and I've experienced it firsthand from my friends. However, I think even though, as Christina mentioned, I think even if art doesn't offer income anymore necessarily, it doesn't mean that we will stop it, because we're passionate about it, and I think it's really important to always remember that we do it because we love it, and it's something intrinsic and not necessarily extrinsic. Art is not a business, but it's a passion that we love. So I think, I think I will just continue to do things that will bring me a sense of fulfillment in my heart and a sense of happiness. And art is a huge part of that. So, of course, maybe like I will find other ways to earn money as well. And also, I want to, in the world of AI, I think I still really wish that I could bring something of my own to the table, because I feel like, I hold the sentimentality that humans could never replace AI. I think we have a mind, we have creativity, and at least at this current state, AI is still drawing from what we've created, and in this database, creating different combinations of what we have created. But the feelings and the experiences are personal and human. So I think I still have confidence that, like, amidst the AI, I could still bring something that is unique to myself with my art. So that's my thought.
That's awesome.
Can I say something real
Sure.
quick of something that you said, Annie? Because like you're so 100% right. I actually agree with you that like I don't think we will get to that point, right? But we're still will be able to do something. But you said something that is interesting. You said art is not a business, it's a passion, right? And while it is true for us, I think we have to be mindful of what that sentence says to bigger companies, because that can be twisted like against that so badly, because during my career as well, I've encountered some spaces where it's like, oh, but this is your passion, therefore this is what you do, right? You're supposed to give up your passion away, you know? And it's like, I think we have to find ways to protect our passion, you know, because
Yeah.
otherwise we can get eaten by
Mhm.
those other companies. But yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
touch up on that.
I absolutely agree. No, I think it's really important because now, since I'm studying art, I'm like, before I used to go to high school and study other subjects and do art as a hobby, and that's what's so interesting. And now I do art all the time, and it's like finding that balance is also really important to, enjoy art as work, but also like find enjoyment in it is so important to preserve yourself and not burn out and all of that. So yeah, I agree, Christina. That was really good. That was really important.
All right, awesome. And up next we have Luhan.
It's a hard question. My first reaction actually was like such an impertinent thought of like I'm gonna go up the mountains and just live as some sort of like self-sustaining like person and just get some peace and quiet finally and have the mentality of like I don't need to grind, I don't need to do anything. I don't need to wake up every day and be like I need to do this and that and that and then improve in this and that and that. So so that's like my first thought. But I think if I really think about it, I think it kind of I would still love to like try something new, sort of try something different, but still kind of stay in this large domain of like the arts. So something like trying out like music and becoming part of a band. That's something I've always wanted to do when I was a kid, but then in the end, because like of my focus in animation and in concept art, I just never got the time to like get better at. So yeah, like getting mastering something like the guitar or something and then being part of a band and it's like a little sense of community in a way. I always really loved going to concerts or orchestras and seeing like these a couple of people or these hundreds of people like coming together with their different skills and like making something so like unified, and I always found that so beautiful. So yeah, so I think that's something I would love to explore on this side
Awesome.
and
And
becoming a monk.
oh, you also picked Monk in Baldur's Gate 3. And you know what else we find beautiful? The Elgato. Could you
Yes.
introduce
Elgato, it's so cute.
Yes.
could you introduce her?
Yeah, she it's her time to eat, so she spooked me because she's
If you want, you
up
can
here.
feed her. Like it's fine. Like this part, like you can take breaks.
No. She ate late, so
Oh.
she can just.
She's so cute.
Wandering to the horizons. All right, Patrick.
Say hi, Salina.
Wait, Salim?
Salina.
Salina.
Selena.
All right.
Hi. Okay.
Cute.
Sorry.
All right. Salina is taking Patrick's like thunder right now. So
Yeah,
Patrick, go ahead.
deserved. It's a cat, so
Yeah.
I always center stage. Yeah, back to the question. So generally, I would not be too concerned because I'm used to earning my money from other sources. I'm only ever in the industry, as in earning money with concept art for about 2 years, and I'm nearly 40 years old. So most of my life I have worked other jobs as a teacher. I was in the military 5 years and other stuff in between. So I know that I can make a living. Otherwise, I just slipped into working in the art sector, even though I studied at art university, but that was something completely different. Nothing you would earn money with. And about AI, I do not think about it very often because in my belief, we will learn one thing, that making art was always about the artist's perspective and less about how you use the tools at your disposal to create something that is perfect, because we don't even know what it is, what we're aiming for to begin with. And when we reach the point when AI can recreate everything, music, pictures, whatever, movies, in a perfect way, we will look at them, we will think, hey, that's so perfect and so beautiful, and we will forget about it after 10 seconds. That's my belief, what will happen, actually. And in the dystopian cyberpunk future, you will not get to join the military, you get drafted anyway. So I will not have any choice here. I've done it already. There's nothing romantic about it. I wouldn't do it again. But yeah.
I'll join Luhan in the mountain.
Hey, let's
I'm
go.
not fighting. I'm not fighting for no country. You know, it's like that's
Same.
so clear.
You're an anarchist. High five. I'm definitely not going to mention the things we talked about before we started recording, but yeah. Yeah, so honestly, my thoughts, for anyone who's been listening consistently to the podcast, they probably know my thoughts and they're sick of it. But if I have to summarize one thing, I'm just going to say like a little like story, which I actually said recently into the Mikhail Kusa's episode as well. Because we talked about this like last night. I recorded this episode last night. And for anyone who's interested, this episode is being recorded on March 10th, Sunday. Right now it's 10:10 p.m. Istanbul time. Just as a fun fact. When I was 18, it was like 4 or 5 days before my university entrance exam. And in Iran, basically, there's like one singular entrance exam all over the country at the same time. And you get graded, and I think it's China and Korea. Korea is the same, like a lot of countries. And of course, my anxiety and stress was through the roof. And it was like, I think it's Saturday, yeah. And I had a really weird nightmare, as usual. I was in my nightmare. It was really, really sick. I was in the exact room, exact position of items and everything. And I saw my curtain was closed, of course, in that dream, same as how it was in real life. And I saw some flashing bright lights behind the curtain. And in my head in the dream, I was like, is that a UFO or something? And I heard some weird noises. Then I got really my hair, even when I'm speaking about it, my hair is kind of standing on my forearm. Then as soon as I realized it's a UFO, I suddenly started getting sucked towards the light, and I was clawing and trying to get the blanket, the bed, everything. And here's the thing, it was one of the most important moments in my life. In my head, one thought only went through: fear. And that fear was, I was like, I haven't expressed myself enough. I don't want to die right now. And to me, I don't care how much AI is going to take jobs. I don't care am I going to be a janitor in the future if AI takes all our jobs? Sure. Am I going to work at McDonald's? There's nothing wrong with the jobs that I mentioned, of course. But I don't care. I'll still want to learn art. I want to still make the games that I want. I will still want to make the things and the dioramas, the art pieces, the stories that I want to tell. I'll tell them. I don't care if no one buys them. I don't care if no one views them. I don't care if it gets 10 views or 11 views or 1 view or 100 million views. I don't care. I just want to express myself before I die, if that makes sense. And to me, that's the most important message. And the good thing about it is group discussion podcast and want to start, and I started, is that it's really great for people to hear multiple perspectives, so they can also figure out what they want to do in life, because sometimes it's really activates eureka moments for people when you hear multiple opinions on the same topic, And what are you guys' thoughts on this?
Wait a second. I lost my thought. If we go to this direction, I sometimes think okay, I want to create, I'm starting something new piece of artwork, personal artwork. And I think, okay, if I die after I create it, and this will be my last artwork, how I want it to look like how I want, not to go to this esoteric, how do you pronounce it in English, but this
Esoteric,
spiritual thing.
Yeah.
Esoteric. Yeah. Spiritual esoteric tangent. But the art and the human expression overall, if we take art as a global thing of human expression, that's something that comes from your experience, from your life, from your even from the birth, how you was created with all your neurotypical, neurodivergent things. It's something that forms you and forms really, really specific vision of life. And art is like, I feel like it's something that's your language, whatever it is. It's writing, it's creating, like even like the art, the writing, the expression, the podcast also. It's something that you like, the form of communication with other people. And it's in the age of technology and in the age of like the media literacy and everything like this, we get influenced a lot by other people, by other creations, and not a lot of like other artists in general term, they learn how to like they from what I see, not a lot of people get this feeling of I want to express what I feel no matter what. Everyone really wants to monetize the art. Everyone wants to, like, younger artists, and I will say it, a lot of their art are shit, but they really want to start and, just like, I've been drawing for 2 months, or I've been like writing fan fiction for 2 months, and I want to like publish my own book. I want to create and I want to take commissions, and I want to get money for it. They don't create it because I need to express it or I'll die. I need to get it out of my system, I want to create, and this is what gets my dopamine. This is what gets me going. This is what like I feel like my purpose in life. And it's really, really sad that like, I see, I don't go to the Twitter, like I'm not even like scrolling my feed right now, because you just, I don't know, you just feel bad for it. Like you see all this, okay, I'm going to the tangent, but I really, really understand what you mean. Like this, that fear you get when you have the nightmare, when you have sleep paralysis, when the car drives really fast in front of you, and you get this feeling of I could have died. And especially like, I mean, I understand really, really good, because like, I mean, I'm Ukrainian, even though I haven't been like in the country yet. But from what I've seen and like watched, it's something that's like it forms it transforms your perception of your own art, and even yourself. If you have this or internal conflict or external conflict that affects you, it's something that a lot of like, I know it's really hard to explain, but I maybe you understand what I mean. It's you just, it drives you to create more, to what was sleeping inside you, what was inside your own personal project or your own personal passion, or your like the drive to connect with other people. It's it's really hard to
You're right. It's not just like in art, it's like in any field in life, in any aspect of life. There's a shame not to like hit a certain like like we all have like ambitions and aspirations in different things, and doing those, it could be like maybe cooking, it could be writing, it could be, I don't know, making like fixing or improving on a design as an engineering challenge. It could be anything. It's a shame to not actually express yourself through what you love, and just life passes by, and you would stop doing it because what AI takes it. I mean, listen, if artists are depressed because of AI, imagine what programmers are going through, And yeah, Luhan, I think, wanted to say something. I'm gonna mute my mic and video. I'll be right back in 20-30 seconds, and I'll let Wuhan continue the conversation. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say I totally agree with the feeling, and this is like why when people ask me like what artists do I like the most, or what are my biggest inspirations, I always kind of go back to like all the old masters, to Impressionism, to those movements from back then, because that's when, in a way, like artists, they love their craft so much, they have so much passion for their craft that they want to innovate. Like Impressionism, in a way, like it was at that time like, oh my god, you're deviating from the academy, and oh my god, it's like it's so bad. But then the reason why it was even started was because people love their craft so much, and you're like, we can change something, we can innovate.
Especially about this, it's really really interesting when you watch more like deep dive into how they uh, uh, the lectures about artists, about their life.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same, like the sergeant and his like the commissions, and he was like so pissed when he had to do some commissions for like this you see in museums this painting of lords and ladies, and you can basically you can feel that like artists tried really really hard to make them presentable, and it's just like this constant struggle. And they also had like the same struggle with, I want to create my personal art, but I have to do this commission for the church, I have to do this commission for the lords and ladies. And sometimes you see where they can actually express themselves, and those things, like a lot of them become masterpieces that we see in the museums. But some of them, like it's really interesting to just this go like listen about their or read about like their personal feelings, or the journals who they left journals, or it's like fascinating how we all like the same throughout the centuries.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring.
If I can add on to this, I think it's quite inevitable once something becomes a business, the same way as art, music, and we've seen it in every field that is creative. When something becomes a business, it's inevitable that people would want to jump in, without knowing what that really means. I think like to give a peace of mind with all of this, because I've received a lot of people messaging me as well, like asking, how do I get there? How do and the reality is that if people don't actually put the work onto getting better at doing art, even if they use AI, it doesn't matter, because they don't understand what you need to actually have, so a lot of those people are not going to make it, and it's a reality, even if let's continue with this thought. No, imagine that now we are imposed to use AI, right? These people that are just going in, that they never done art, and they just go and type things, they don't know how to drive a vision forward. Like, they just know how to type and then put it up online and be like, look at what I've created, but they don't actually know how to drive that vision forward, like you need people that understand art and they know how to move those images forward in order to get a desired result, so I think like it's inevitable to get, because what we do is the same as music, right? How many people sing? How many people play instruments that they are all like, I want to be the next whatever, But it's like it takes so much more, right? Than just I want to be. It takes you actually sitting down and doing it, Like, I always laugh about these thoughts of, I wish I would play the piano. And it's like, okay, so what are you actively doing to learn how to play the piano? It's like, it's the same thing with art. I want to work doing what you do. It's like, okay, so what are you daily doing to get to the point that a lot of us are, right? So I just think it's inevitable for people to see what we do and not really understand everything that is behind, because it happens to me in other disciplines. I don't really know what is behind a lot of programming, coding, game design, and I work with them every day, and I see them and it's like, man, it's like another language, so I think with art it happened a similar thing, that people see it, they see the final image and they're like, I want to do that, but they don't understand, so my peace of mind is like, all those people, they won't make it, because they just don't actually have the willingness to do it. They just have the wish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's it's like
Sorry.
the sorry, yeah, you go.
No, you can go first. It's
Okay.
alright.
I feel like it's because like a lot of like, is this like the because of the internet and the social media, is the romanticization of art? It's like the same like with the romanticization of the military. It's you see like in the art you see the final image, but you don't see, because no one posts like their 10 ugly sketches or something, or their process. Artists post the process of their like previous old drawings, but you won't find the I don't know, the stick figure of Greg Rutkowski right now on the internet. Maybe it exists somewhere, but you won't find like the ugly image of Greg Rutkowski. But and a lot of the AI guys, or even just the artists who just the people who just want to be in like the professional artist, it's this romanticization of I am the artista, the paint smell or the big synthetic that's like I draw and it's so aesthetical and I post and I
LA,
get 10,000 likes. It's just yeah.
LA,
Why don't
LA is full of that people.
I feel like,
LA
yeah. I don't know. It's like this. I want to say privilege. Privilege is not the right word, but it pisses me off. I'm gonna get pissed right now because this you wanna get a nice. You can't even like, and you see how this happens, and you can't even like say to the person what's wrong. Like it's not how you should do it, because everyone is so like right about what they do. You can't judge anyone, even though like objectively and subjectively what they're doing is like not what they should do to if what they want to get where they want to get. You have like a lot of professionals, they have this experience, but what they see right now, especially with TikTok, that's mediocre artists with 100,000 followers, and those followers are like 12, 13, 14-year-olds, and they just see the portrait of the pretty anime girl and they just learn from it, but it's they don't train themselves to love the process, the technical stuff,
and
this
also,
sweat,
yeah, and
blood,
also
sweat, and
not
tears.
only, yeah, not only that, but also there is a misleading concept of what really our industry is about with TikTok, Instagram, and all these like hundreds and thousands of likes. There is a completely misleading idea of what it is that you have to do to, for instance, work in video games. I swear to you, it doesn't matter if you have like millions of likes if what you are doing is not good for the video game industry. It doesn't matter, and it's like it doesn't matter if you're the best doing fan art, you go nowhere doing fan art, so it is nowhere like in the video game industry, if you want to do, for instance, character design or stuff like that, so what makes me sad is what you were saying. It's like there is this whole world in Instagram and like Twitter and like TikTok and all these things that is completely misleading of what really means to work in the animation, video game industry, film industry,
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I don't want to interrupt Annie because you wanted to say something as well.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's very insightful. I think I do want to link back to something that Patrick was saying earlier about how if there's like a piece of film, for example, that was completely built by AI and was completely perfect, we will forget about it. And the reason why we connect so much with work that is because we are associated with them. Like we associate a piece of artwork with the person usually, and we enjoy like watching their journey, how we hone in our crafts and our processes. I know that Anna posts like really gorgeous process videos of like how the illustration is painted, and it's like I just find that so fascinating. Like everyone leaves a different mark and everyone shares their own experience and everyone has their own process of how to create things, their own inspirations, and that inspires people. And yeah, I think like as Anna and Christina aforementioned, I think like it's art is a craft and it's something that we'll continue to improve on and want to strive to be the best at, and it's mainly for ourselves, but also we have that mindset to approach into any kind of business and in any professional environment. AI, I would like to see it as a tool. I really hope we could use it as a tool to help us get better, but it's definitely not something that we should rely on to create something. But like, I think it could be used correctly if we allow it to be. I just think that, you know, our personal creativity is so important and it's what makes our work very special. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have anything to add on to this topic?
I would have one point or two.
Awesome.
So talking about all this stuff like this reminds me pretty much about university. So I've had more or less classical university education at one of the universities in Vienna, and it was thoroughly frustrating. So it was a horrible experience because there were many artists who didn't have, let's say, they didn't trust themselves as artists. So what they really wanted to be was academics and philosophers, because other disciplines have that too. They have big words, they have texts. So we have to have that too. And by this process, abandoning what made them strong in the whole field in the first place. During the years when I attended university, 5-6 years, all in all, I did never in my life draw so little and with so less passion. So when I was at the military, I didn't think about myself as an artist. I drew the tanks. They were standing. You have a lot of time at hand if you're in the military. You're basically waiting all day long, so there's something to draw. Yeah, I didn't think about it. Then university was all about thinking about stuff that we don't really understand. We don't really understand where this AI stuff is going to, if we're honest. Will it change everything? Has it already exceeded our capacity to see what's going on? It doesn't matter. I just want to do my stuff. So after I graduated from university, I started drawing. I did draw every day. I didn't think of myself as an artist. That might be even harmful today if you are in this frame. I'm an artist and artist is threatened by AI. I don't have that. I don't have to see myself as an artist to do what I'm doing. And that helped me a lot during the last I never drew so much in my life than the last 4 or 5 years, because I was completely free of this. I'm in this box, I'm at university, I belong to this group. I had a job that was reasonably well paid and I liked it. So the public school system is not a dream job, but it's fine. You have something of a meaningful life, and I just was content. And so the job came really out of nowhere by itself. I still, to this day, I don't understand why anyone would pay me money to do the stuff I do. If you can get much more professional people like you all here, I don't understand it, but I don't search to understand it. I just don't care. If tomorrow I don't get money from this source at all, I do the same all day long. Because I can say that with 100% confidence, because I did it before. I didn't think of I want to have a job, I want to earn money without. No, I already did earn money enough for my humble living. I had days with enough free time to think about things that I really liked. So so that's not really a question. That it's really harming artists if they always intellectualize, because also I've witnessed that they are not the best in that. There are other people who are much better in the big words game. And the art university was a testament to that. So they always wanted to be, it was at the end neither art nor academics nor philosophy. That's why it was so frustrating. They should have just did their thing. That's why there is an art university in the first place, because they did something that the other fields could not. And I have the feeling artists, especially those who very strongly self-identify with this tribe, undermine themselves oftentimes in the process. So I don't feel like this AI thing is threatening me, especially because the time when art is completely AI dominated, everything else there will be no doctors, there will be a completely different world. It's no use thinking about what you will draw in a world that's so different. And maybe we won't go there because we don't understand it like this perfect AI movie. We look at it and so that tells us nothing. And I believe that this will be the case eventually.
Yeah, to this. Yeah, go.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I fully agree with this, like, almost like labeling of an artist. I think, like you said, it really like. I watched Whiplash recently, which like I know I'm really late to the game. Whiplash and Black Swan, which like both are about artists, like struggling in a way and trying to become better artists, and in the end crashed and burned, became crazy and all that stuff, and their journey to become that artist he wanted to be. And for me, like in a way, I love the movies as like films, but in a way, I was also really something was bothering me while watching them because in a way they were kind of like they always had this message of like, okay, so in order to be a really good artist, you need to go through a bunch of things. You need to like go through a lot of like physical pain, emotional pain, to go through all these things and crash and burn, and then maybe you'll ascend to become like this amazing artist. And for me, it's like that's not really like the path or like the story to every single artist out there. And also just like just this term of like, oh, I'm an artist, so I must suffer for my art. I must this and that. I must be afraid of AI. I'm a junior artist, so I must be afraid of like AI coming into this industry, or like. Or like I'll lose my job because I'm an artist and there's AI out there. I think like you said, it's really like it just like boxes you into this thing and you just associate yourself to all of these attributes, and you kind of just forget that actually no, like like you there's other things out there, and you can put in if you have the personality, if you're able to put in effort, or you have like this like routine or like I don't know how to say it, but yeah, like this routine that you're able to like go with, like it's not the end just because of like AI, let's say.
I love that. I love what you two are saying, because it's so true. And like even each one of us that we do similar things, we have individual passions, And I think at the end of the day is what is that you like doing? What is it that you like drawing? That's what I always feel that like I would never stop, regardless, because it's what you are saying, Patrick, because it's like, if tomorrow I don't have a job, I'll still do the characters I like to do, because it's where my passion lies, and I feel that that's the biggest thing that happens. That's like that question of like, what is it that you actually like doing, because a lot of people they might be, for me as characters, I like to relate to characters, I like to relate to people, right? But for other people it might be, I just love light, and like paint beautiful illustrations like Anna does, and it's like everyone has like completely different passions within a similar bubble, right? But I did struggle as well for a while. I struggle as well of like saying that I was an artist, because I had this idea of like artists being the impressionists, the orientalists, the classical art, and I'm like, I just love drawing people. What does that make me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, it was always a term, it's like, I just like to do what I do. I was like, I just love drawing characters, that's my passion, so I feel that like, it's good to not fit into a specific box, but sometimes create your own box, and be like, this is my space, and this is what I like doing, But yeah, I love what you two are doing. Saying.
it's really interesting to watch like different perspectives. Because, for example, like Luhan said, a lot of artists like have this unnecessary fear, or they try to drive through the fear and hardships. Because like I'm only driven by the fear and hardships. It's so interesting to see like and to think about like how each of us goes through the different stages of becoming artists, and I feel like this came through where we first picked up the pen and decided to draw something just because we wanted to draw something as a child. Like, or is it like, was it this escapism from the hardships of your life, or is it because of you were inspired by something beautiful and you wanted to create something like this, or is it like, you know, it's so interesting to just hear different perspectives. And I feel like that's why a lot of like drama, but a lot of fear, because most of it goes through the social media when you can only express yourself through the short text messages. You don't get this deep insight of, and not a lot of people like, they don't understand like that it's much, the iceberg much deeper goes, and each of us has the different reason of being an artist, but in the end, like, we come from the different places, but we all go through the one to the one destination of being someone who creates and shows it. Like it's like, you know, it's like the digital footprint, but it's like life footprint you want to have in your life. Like, you know, that's in the end, that's you know what I mean. But it's just really interesting to just hear like the different perspectives. And yeah, because I become an artist as an escapism from like the heart, like to childhood and everything like this. But then because of that, each time when, like, you know, this jump in your art skill and your art inspiration was it was caused by another hardship or something that's like I had to put myself in the hard situation to grow, because that's how, like, you know, I just started, okay, this was my root, this is what my brain understood as like I want to create, unfortunately, or something. Like I want to create because I experienced this hardship. So every time there's something like, even right now, AI, that's like, that's the can become a reason of me not having my job. I feel like, no, you know, the brain just becomes, no, you have to create more out of spite, out of just like do it because they try to take it away. So you have to grip it more harder. And it's just, and I feel like not a lot of people, especially I when I was at the art conference last time and I was talking to another art teacher, they said like it's really hard to talk to a lot to the students because each of them have their own perspective of art, and you have to come to like to almost like a psychologist to why do you want to create this, how do you create this, and what was the reason for you to draw this or to create this. You know, it's such a deep dive into it's like 5-hour YouTube essay you need about this. Just the reasons of, you know, just the art and how, and what's also really interesting, and I'm trying to also to get into this, which like how brain works when you create art, how, because you perceive visual, like there's the different senses of like the visual, the hearing, the voice, you know, the vocal, but how do you, like, the draw, what is going on in your brain on the chemical level, on the like the physical level. And because of neurodivergent and neurotypical artists, they have all different ways of what causes them to become like inspired by something. It's something that's not studied at all. Like from what at least I've tried to look into it, and it's so interesting. Even like thinking about this, not a lot of people think about this. It's like inspires you to like just think about art in the much more deeper level. Okay, I got into another tangent. Stop me.
No, it's fine.
Right.
Well, if anyone else has anything to add, if no one has anything else to add, I want to add some stuff. So, is there anyone else left? All right, good. So I just want to mention something. I just quickly took notes. I just want to talk about because I forget them. I just want to mention this point that I think it was in 1999 where, for the first time, a human chess player got defeated by a computer. Because there was a huge, fear of AI even at that time. Gary Kasparov lost to Deep Blue. I think it was in 1999. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but it was around the time. And there was a huge debate and headlines about it, like with the oh, AI is going to take over, chess is over, no one's going to play chess anymore. But no, it didn't happen. But of course, I understand. Chess and art are not very comparable in a lot of senses, as it's in affects our lives. And one thing I want to mention as well, I was just thinking about this. Imagine in 56 years, everything goes as dystopian as things seem to be going, right? So imagine we're in Cyberpunk 2077 world, almost 50 years later, right? And art is dead. No one really there's not many art jobs, But I think in that sense, underground human artists would be very kind of like superstars, and and human made art would be an actual commodity, like a rare commodity, and it makes it more valuable. And not just that, I think in the world that everyone's attention span is getting shorter, everyone's getting lazier for learning. There's because of all of us to some extent all around the world are I think I don't want to get into too much politics or stuff like that. I think on purpose we're all being turned into survival mode to some sense, so we don't have to think about other stuff in life. I actually had this conversation with someone on the podcast recently, the Rob Twitel. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name again. he was an environment artist from the Netherlands, and we talked about how because of a lot of the bad policies, the cities are losing their identity because every apartment are becoming copy paste apartments, and not just apartments. Every aspect of human life is getting copy pasted because of I guess it's more profitable to do that. So with all of this in mind, I think someone, even though everything seems kind of hopeless, grinds through and still finds a way to express themselves, would be the winner in the end. Because that's something that would be a rare commodity. Yes, sure, AI can do a lot of fun stuff, a lot of cool stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Even just go on YouTube and even just a year or 2 years ago, they make I love this videos where, for example, Dark Souls in 80s, horror genre, and there was pictures of NPCs and characters from Dark Souls and they ran it through AI, and there was different versions as if they were in an 80s horror movie. It can do cool stuff. I get it. It can even help, maybe even take jobs. But what it can't do is come up with styles. Or it's not even that good in design at this point. In my humble, not, I guess, so much valuable opinion, because I'm not in the industry. I'm not even a junior artist. I just want to say that out loud, in the podcast, since if anyone's watching, I'm not like the rest of this guest right here. But another thing I also want to mention, let me see. Jesus, my handwriting is really bad. Yeah, it's alcohol writing. I'm sorry. Yeah, but the thing is, I think regardless of what happens, how much AI progresses, I think there will always be those people like you actually have the desire to express themselves, and that's what makes them stick to practicing art. And those are the real winners. So my the plea I want to make to anyone who's listening, or artists who are disappointed or want to give up, is that there is, and this kind of sounds so cliche and stuffy, but in all of us, there's a unique way of expressing ourselves. All right. So, in your case, you choose to be a visual artist, right? So in that sense, there you have a unique way of expressing yourself, one maybe an aspect of your work or something that's out there, right? Just get out of tutorial hell, master the fundamentals, and try to draw as much as possible. Try to draw the things as much as you want. Try to explore the things as much as you like, and your like style, same as your accent, as it develops when you're learning a new language, it develops over time by practice. You don't just copy it, which some people do and think it's fancy. No, it develops over time, and the more you do it, the more your style becomes refined, right? And that's, I think, like in age where people are giving up, don't give up. That's what I want to say. You know? Does anyone have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, actually, like, because that's very interesting, right? Because I actually had this conversation, even with a friend of mine that she's an incredible illustrator that works at Marvel currently. Even without imagining the dystopian world that you're putting into the table, just like we did the exercise of what skills do you need to keep doing what we do, right? Like, because it always happens of like, okay, what is this technology is mixing things up, it's mixing things up, and it's creating a lot of havoc, and it's like, we were doing the exercise of like, okay, which new skills are you gonna need to keep doing what you do, and I think one of the most important ones is that, because everybody thinks now that it's like, oh, AI, you can just have an idea, type it, and it comes into something, right? The reality is like absolutely everybody has ideas. My mom has ideas, my brother has ideas, like absolutely everybody has ideas. But how, it's a little bit what I was saying before, how to take those ideas and make them into something that has a vision is something that you have to train. You have to train. Like, it's something that it takes a lot of brain power. I think it's something that like a lot of people think that like you just go and draw and just like you just paint la la la, and improve your skills. And yes, but like when you're designing something, when you have a vision for something, you need to work so much more in your head, so much more of like how to make that vision come into something. So those are partially one of the things that we were thinking. That's a skill that a lot of artists gonna have to take in consideration, of like, how do I take this and drive it forward, right, into a new thing? Because AI is going to become a mashup of things that we already have seen and known. And like, I live with what Patrick was saying, like at the end, you're going to see it and it's like, I'm fucking bored of this. I've seen it like a million times. It's like, we all listen, maybe some people still like superheroes. We're all tired of it. Sorry, because it's like they squeeze it so much that now making another superhero, it just doesn't, it's like, okay, well, another one, so I feel that that's partly what it's gonna happen, of like, we're just gonna have this mashup over and over and over of things that, as you're saying, like it does look cool, but how do you take this and make it into something else, something different, and that doesn't mean you have to reinvent the wheel every time, you just have to redesign it, but designing especially is a lot of mental work, so to add a lighter note, and without going to this like mega dystopian world, I don't think that artists are gonna just like run out of jobs all of a sudden. I think the paradigm is gonna change, and the requirements of what you need to have to survive in this industry are gonna shift potentially to another side. But that's why, like, I keep saying, people, like, keep working on your ideas and how to develop those ideas to drive a vision forward. Because, if you only work on your technique, you need it, because you're going to have to do fucking paint overs, and if you don't know how to paint or draw, you're going to just like be dead, but you also have to think of like how do you do to make this new design, to make this fresh take onto something. It's actually a lot more than just developing technical skills, you know. So that's, I don't know if I touch up on something that you mentioned, but it's something that I wanted to mention to just add like a lighter note of like, I don't think all of a sudden we're just gonna be like wiped out of the equation, you know. I think unfortunately there's gonna be a massive downscale, in my opinion, that's gonna happen. But I think one of the biggest skills with the technical skills that you're gonna need is also knowing how to drive that vision forward, and it's like fucking squeeze your brain to gather new influences, like, you know, like push those boundaries of what design can do, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
To
what I
add
wanted
to
to
this,
a bit out of my whatever, you know.
it's just to add to this and to what you said before about like artists putting or focusing on the art that's like should not be in their portfolio if they want to get into the industry. Like a lot of artists just focus on creating a pretty picture. But when you go and actually just get portfolio reviews or get like even like on the conferences and ask artists to review your like, hey, can you review my portfolio? And they say first thing they ask you like, okay, what's your goal? Who you want to be? And they're like, I don't know, I just want to draw. And they're like, yeah, I mean, cool, but like, what do you want to draw? Do you want to be a concept artist? Do you want to be like the illustrator? Do you want to be like the? It's AI can create. It can generate like the ideas that's like just a mashup of mindless things, and what my feel like the. To focus on AI, what the one thing that I really hope will not happen is it will start training the taste of people, because you know the people will look at it and they'll say like, yeah, that looks cool, after like 5 years of seeing this constantly. But overall, subjectively, it will look like crap. So it's something that's like, I don't care how big AI will happen. What I am afraid is that it will be like, I mean, you get what I mean. The taste, the people, it will change the taste of people, and those artists that will still have like that. They will try to create ideas, because even right now, it's really, if you work with the art director who likes to micromanage or who has this vision, like really, really specific vision, that's kind of like it's getting personal for him, and not I mean, people, those of you who work with the art directors, that's like they get too personal about this. You know, they start to just micromanage you, or like, you know, the focus on the stuff that doesn't matter, or like they choose ideas that's not really like fitting to the project. I'm not if some art directors who will listen to this try to hire me, I'm not trying to shit on you, but you get what I mean. It's already really, really hard to convince some people who hire you that's like those ideas are actually good, and you just don't like just try to listen to me, you know. It's especially if there's like in the bigger projects, there is like a few stages of approval you need to go through, and that's a lot of projects right now suffer from. If AI will come to this, and those shareholders or other people or directors or CEO who will have the saying in the art direction, they will train on those mindless, stupid images. It's one thing that I'm like, God damn it! It will be, yeah, it's something that out of your power, because you are not approving. You have to create ideas, but like, you know, it's already really hard. I even notice in commissions when someone wants to, I want a medieval a character. Like I want this knight, and I create the armor that's proper for a medieval knight, but they want something that's like D&D, and D&D is it's not realistic. Let's just put it like this.
Can I
They want to.
interrupt for a little
Yeah, yeah,
moment?
yeah.
Just- If not, then please go on.
No.
Don't
You,
disturb it when I
please
talk.
interrupt me, because I will just.
Because
Yeah,
it came to my mind that if we are talking about art, there are really there is a fundamental point. We don't have to wonder about will artists as a job still be around. If there is nothing to do for them, we already know the answer. That is what the art market, the classical, is. So they're doing Dadaism for 100 years in architecture. They're doing modernism for 100 years and always selling it as a new thing. What you are coming from a design direction, because when I have the honor of working with young students in the ages between 10 or 18, when I talk to them, if I mention art, what they have in mind is that stuff, a picture I'm looking at, and I have no idea, it's abstract, I have no idea what it signifies, and somebody talks a big deal about it, and it's frustrating. They don't even consider what we all doing here, art. I do, but we have to keep that in mind, that if the fear of AI is only then substantial if we are in a sector where judgment is involved, and in all of your works there's some judgment involved, because otherwise there wouldn't somebody be there paying you or give you commissions, because a commission or a job is by definition somebody judges your skills to be adequate or fabulous or whatever, the perfect ones for this case. The other art, that's what I learned about in university, is a completely different game. It's not about what you're doing, it's about all. If you have to define, visit a site, it's called, I've pulled it up, masterworks.com. It's an investment platform where you can invest in art and like stocks. That's what the market is. So yeah, there are many artists who are making fabulous amounts of money. That's the artists where the people at the art university are aiming to become those artists. It's nothing about a process or a hardship. It's just about how can I understand how this particular artwork gets its worth. And even if there is AI, it doesn't matter. They don't serve a purpose for about half a century now, and they won't serve a purpose in 20 years, or will they? Maybe I'm just too stupid to notice. But they're really different categories, and we are all that's the problem with having this broad term art and meshing everything in, because most of the time we don't even know what we're talking about, and we're talking past each other. I have the feeling, because will art go away? No, because we already have proof. Most of the art that makes 200 million is how does Jackson Pollock paintings, how do they make 200 million? Can you have ask 200 million for a commission for Apex Legends? I don't think you can.
Yeah, the gallery. The gallery art, or even like
Well,
the
I
art
don't even own the franchise.
it's those are like such a different topics that require their own discussion, because the gallery art, or like let's call it like traditional modern art, it's oh my god, it's weird. Like I guess
my argument is not that we should make these distinctions. My argument is we should abandon that, and if we do work, we will be subject to judgment. It's inevitably the case, and that's what even the students, if they are used. So I work with these very young people, and they are frustrated by this attitude of everything you do is fine, it's just fine. So they know they have some goal, it's more or less high. They that's what their image of art is nowadays. It's just something that you do, and it's something completely different than we are talking about here in an industry. The word industry wasn't even mentioned once in 5 or 6 years of art university for me. They are in a completely different world, and for them the answer is, or for us, it can be for us too. If you make it, if your sketches are because you are a genius and you know how to strategize, or just by dumb luck, your sketches are worth 5 million 2 pages of your sketchbook. Yeah, fine, but it's about completely different things. And there are other things that we can look at, even if you take video games, for example. What's happening there is also not new, except you have what you have in art history. You have medieval art, Renaissance art till today. You have that same thing in video games. If you look at Super Mario, the first one, 85, that was medieval art. And video game industry went through the whole circle of everybody worked in this frame, in this very closed frame. We just work on video games, but we want to get better. And they did. And it didn't take 500 years, but it did take 30 or 40 years to get from medieval art, that is Super Mario Bros., the first one, to what's released today. That can look like real life. And painting went through the same process, you see, except it took a few centuries. So in and of itself, so there's no question for me that art it will remain. And if it's only as this project, like, why is a painting painted by a monkey worth something? There are a few examples for that, because this novelty, and if not anything will be that maybe it's cute that a human can make something in 50 years and it has value because of that. There will be something, because this classical art, the art market is that already. There is, you can talk and discuss for hours at end which purpose it serves, why paintings are worth this or that, and you will get nowhere in the end. But it will be there, so we know the answer.
All right, I just have to say something before anyone else starts talking. This is really important. I want to say this is like honestly the most fun I've had podcasting in the past 4 years. I just have to say that. Like, this is like one of my favorite conversations ever. Like, this is actually one of the best decisions I made, to make this group discussion podcast like a staple of the podcast. Like, maybe do it weekly or maybe bi-monthly. I don't know. But
Or maybe drunk.
good point. And actually, I just want to say some fun facts. First of all, thank you for anyone who muted their mics during their speaking. I should have mentioned this before, like, when, someone is speaking, the others should mute their mics. But thank you all for already doing that without me noticing. And Luhan, I'm just joking. The next thing is, this is also, I think, would be kind of interesting for people to listen to as well. Like, how, like, the guests we have today, like, they're like a mixed match of, like, different, timelines that I've had, time frames I've done the podcast with them, or, they're maybe, sometimes they're like, not similar in artworks. Why? I'm gonna tell you now. I said this to Wahan before you guys joined the call, and it's very simple. Intuition. Just the vibes. Like, and I just mixed the match, people who I think had the same vibe and energy, and I just, put them in the podcast, which we are right now. And, I really didn't go through like a really strong like process of like, like a thought process of like, oh, how should I like, engineer this way to the podcast becomes better. Just sort of, that'd be interesting to put these people together, these names. And, that's how it happened. And let's see. Oh, the last thing, the note on my very messy sticky note I need to mention is that, like, a really good thing about, like, the group podcast, especially right these days, like having a roundtable discussion like this, is I think it encourages people, it gives people hope, in a sense that they're seeing like, oh, artists still have fun talking about art, is still doing art. So art is not dead, and it won't die anytime soon. And it's really weird to even say that. It's kind of like really absurd. And yeah, these are some thoughts I just wrote down. I just want to say, if anyone wants to, take the mic, stand, go ahead.
Yeah, art will never die. That's my opinion. Art will never die. It's like it's probably what Patrick was saying. No, at the end, it's like sometimes we get into the convoluted talk of specifically talking about the industry, no, the new term industry, video games, VFX, animation, everything. But art, I mean, we have found art in caves, like that existed so long ago, right? So art will never die, you know. But what might be dying or downsizing is the industry as we know it today. That's what I think might happen.
Annie, you wanted to say something? Oh, nice! The emoji.
I completely agree. I think I think too it's crudest form. Art is a form of like storytelling and the way we tell stories. A lot of people who can't maybe read or write or what, it's like a visual storytelling method. And I think the way we as humans grew, and our civilization grew to the point it is now is because we're able to communicate with each other universally through art in different forms too, not just visual, but like music, dance, and all sorts of things. And art is like such an expressive space. So I do not think it will die either. And I think we are blessed with this opportunity to be artists. Like, I think it's such a magical thing that we're able to like create characters, create paintings, and design machines. Like, that's so cool to me. So yeah, I just hope we all continue to do what we do.
And
Also,
oh, sorry, go.
yeah, just to add to this, every time there was like some major thing that's in the history of art, like the conflicts, the war, the changes of or discovery or the progress, technical progress, industrial progress. Every time it caused the creation of the new wave of art or the new like neoclassicism, classicism, modern art. It's so what I hope to see is just the creation of something new, like the new wave of art. A lot of people that at least right now I see my mutuals or my friends. Right now they start to focus on their own projects too, like just to put something that they were putting off for like years. Right now they just see that this is the time that I need to put what I like want to create, and it's like this new wave of art creations, and I really hope that this will become a norm, not a norm, but a thing that will the at least AI art will cause that the positive thing that a lot of people will realize that this is the time to create something that we were putting off for years. Just come on, do it. To New Year resolution or something like this, just if you had something in mind that you're like, nah, maybe later, maybe tomorrow, next week I'll definitely start. It's just do it.
All right. And one thing I also need to mention that, last night, as I mentioned before in the podcast, I was interviewing Mikhail Kus, and I also brought up a tweet he made recently and the people who responded under it. Basically, it was about his argument that AI art will never replace actual art, change my mind and stuff like that. I don't remember the actual tweet, but it was along the lines of that. And under his tweet, there were a lot of these insufferable tech bros replying. And these are the most disgusting, filthy creatures I've ever seen in my life. The ones who think like, I'm specifically talking those NFT AI bros who think, they're gatekeeping art by saying AI art is not actual art. And, there are actually people out there. I'm not kidding. I couldn't believe how dumb people can be. They think that it's best that, if anyone is, mad about the art, they're just mediocre artists who are crying about their future. And also they think, like tech and blockchain and all that stuff is going to, rule the world one day, so why not embrace it at the same time? And one person in particular was criticizing Mikhail Kus because he's like very good with the drawing mechs, hard surface stuff. And it's like, oh, you can't see the irony in what you're saying. You're literally drawing robots and mechs, and yet you're still, against AI and stuff like that. And I really don't understand people sometimes. And there are actually people who are super heavy on this stuff. And one person that I actually absolutely I think is really is making this whole thing a lot harder. I think one person who's in charge in Nvidia, who said that in 10 years programming will be obsolete because of AI. The only programming there is going to be one programming language, and it's going to be English language, which, although it sounds scary, but yeah, there are a lot of people who love seeing our jobs being replaced by AI. Just absolutely loving it. Every single penny they can scrounge up, they'll do it. But guess what? We're just gonna express ourselves. We're just gonna take our job. We're gonna go live in mountains, even if we have to.
I
Problem solved.
generally think, I generally think it's ignorance. Genuinely, because I have seen conversations saying that they put artists as the rich kids. I've listened this term, artists being like the rich kids, and I genuinely think it's ignorance from their part, not knowing what it takes and where, like, the diversity of people that works in doing this, and it's like, even if you have the luck of having money because heritage or family or whatever, and you can go to art center, the struggles that you're gonna go through to get somewhere are still there, and like, I never went to art school, I had no money to get into any school to learn anything. It's all self-taught pretty much, and that's why when I hear those arguments, I generally think it's out of ignorance, out of not knowing anything at all about the amount of people that are working doing this and the variety of people that are working doing what we do. I don't know if they're referring to a specific background, but even when you refer to that specific background, I know plenty of people, like, our center is full of students every year, and not everybody makes it. So at the end of the day, it actually doesn't matter how much money you're going to put into a school if you actually don't put up the work and do the struggles, like go through the struggles and the uncomfortable path of becoming, the artist that you want to become, So I don't know. I feel at the beginning, I used to get really annoyed by these conversations, listening to these tech people, I also think, like, partly a lot of people talk like this because we had ingrained in our brains this idea that progress comes with every consequence. Progress has to come and you just have to eat it, and the reality is that progress has to come and needs to come for the well-being of humanity, but progress can also come with values, with boundaries. It can come with many other things, but through history we have learned that there's this group of people that tell us it's progress, and thousands of people are going out without work. And I'm not talking about the art industry, I'm talking about any industry, and it's just, they just tell you progress is coming, and you just have to suddenly stop everything and, like, okay, progress. So I've heard a lot of artists as well, especially a lot of people is very vocal towards all of this, because a lot of people are just saying, hey, we want progress to happen, but progress can happen with boundaries and values, There is a really, really good documentary. I believe you guys can find it on Netflix, that is called the same people that did it's called The AI Dilemma. It's the same two guys that did the documentary The Social Dilemma, that talks about social media. So I recommend that talk. No, it's not a documentary. It's a talk that they give precisely about this. and they don't talk about art at all. They just talk about how AI comes with a brutal force because there's no boundaries being imposed. It comes without values, and that's the stuff that I really feel with everything that's happening. That progress is coming your way, and it's like a tsunami. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. So that's why I'm very happy that a lot of artists like Carla Ortiz as well, like here in the US, are advocating to try to put some rules in place. I guess that's the only thing that we're trying to do here is just like, can we put some rules in here,
Oh,
at least for the
instantly.
minutes, because yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go on, finish your piece.
No, I was just gonna say at least for the minute, because you don't know how the future is gonna be, right? But yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to say.
There's one way to instantly make all the regulations that we need. And I've seen this method from a comment section of an Instagram post. I'm just gonna say it the most lighthearted way possible. You could start using Sora AI, all the AIs available, to make as many messed up imagery and visual media from politicians involved. And as soon as it starts ruining their life, they will instantly try to regulate it as soon as possible. I'm not the one for advocating crime or tag. No, I mean, like any unorthodox method of fixing problems, but extreme problems sometimes require extreme measures. From out.
That that is funny because that's kind of the premise of sci-fi stories like Dune, where technology has become so powerful that you have to outlaw it, and people are fighting with swords again and doing manual thinking. And we could, it's an exaggeration because an artistic vision of that, but we could end up with some real life version of that very soon. So having so many online things going on, like you cannot even do online banking maybe in the future because some bot with a based on a quantum computing thing comes along and robs you. So you have to make things more manual again, including art, which would be actually a possibility. Because if also in the production side of things, if you have, even now, I don't have the time to play every video game that I want to play. What happens if we crank up the production process even more? So there are 100 Baldur's Gate 3 a month. So we have to abandon it altogether and start playing board games with drawings against something that's more that we're more accustomed with, the speed of how we interface with this medium. And we could very well be ending up with some situation like that.
Mm-hmm. And it's really, I agree with you 100%, because I think it happened a little bit with the Netflix effect in the regards of like suddenly when Netflix was born, we started seeing, like, Netflix wasn't the first one, but it's the first one that actually exploded to absolutely everyone. We started seeing production after production, like crazy, like insane amount. And what I have seen in people is that people are craving the most independent movies, the series that are more out there, because everything else that you have is so sterile, So I think that there is a possibility where individualism, or the individual voices of artists, directors, all of this would still prevail with all that noise that you're talking about, right? When you have like 10,000 Baldur Gates in the month, maybe there's something else that is going to come out. It's going to be more independent, and people would end up craving some more of that. Maybe like physical art would become more of a thing, originals, like, I don't know. I think it's all of this is a speculation, of course, but I do agree with you that, like, it might create that sterile environment where it's like people is going to go somewhere else to the tactile things,
I think that's like what might be like actually happen. That's there will be hundreds of mediocre are like creations, games, movies that's like so like they're so mid, they're so like not about anything because they're like created just like, you know, just this I don't know, H&M production, like the you know, like this the custom design clothing, and then this fast fashion, and that those show will become like, you know, this fast fashion that's just change like constantly produces that stuff, like this really really interesting games and really really interesting movies. They'll just get buried under all this noise, and it will be really really hard to find something. You know, you just have to go through the feed, through the Netflix movie, through the watch 10 trailers that's like put, and a lot of those like this cash grabbing mass produced pieces of media, they will have such a huge marketing budget that's they'll just become this noise that you'll have to like try to escape, or you know, it's and they will affect the taste of people. You know, it's something that's I don't think that there will be like the hundreds of like this Baldur's Gate 3 games, because it's really hard to create something like this with as a mass produced product, at least like next 10 years. Even if you change voice actors or animation with AI or with something like, you know, just stock assets, it will not be this quality that you feel human to human connection to the character because of the motion capture, because of the everything like this. That's but yeah, it's just even right now, you go through the like I don't even go to the DeviantArt because I can't find the good artwork, because there's like hundreds of AI art, and I'm not even talking about Pinterest or looking about something specific, and or even in the Google, in the Pinterest, I bought like the books about the historical costumes and historical ornaments of different countries, because if I Google this, I see AI. You know, it's and someone experienced person will use it as a reference. They'll put it in the production, or even like the historical books, medical books. Right now, they use the inaccurate depictions of what they're supposed to depict. And yeah, it's just something that's, as I mentioned, like the taste will change. Then yeah, my 5 cents conversation.
Actually, just like a stupid note, but I don't think we should use Baldur Gate as an example, because that is an independent game. We should use more FIFA as an example. You know, thousands of FIFA.
No. I did it on purpose because Baldur's Gate is an example how everyone can relate to this being a very, very, very close to perfect product. So thus apply having a spot in your consumer habits. So you have to play Baldur's Gate, you have to play certain games, they are first in line. What happened if there wouldn't be any problem if they're just 2 or 3 first in line games half a year, but what about hundreds of them that are actually so perfect that you cannot tell the difference? So it was on purpose. If the others just cheap knockoffs, then there would still be one Baldur's Gate, because if you look at the release list of Steam, the games we tend to see are just a tiny fraction. The other ones are like 50,000 porn games that get released every month. You know, we don't even see them. Look up some list like this. The Steam page that's very curated. What we get to see is this heap on top, and a situation like the Netflix effect. That's a good example as well, because you have so many production formats that are equally fighting about your time, that you tend maybe to abandon it altogether. That's actually one reason why I sketch so much, because I didn't watch a single TV series for years now. I got the feeling I've seen it all. I watched single episodes, movie here and there, but I had the feeling at a certain point I've seen it all. I wasn't engaged with it anymore, so I had time freed. And with games, yeah, we might as well be there very soon.
Yeah. We will see.
Yeah.
But yeah, even with movies,
That's for
it's like,
certain.
yeah. I guess movies or even like music, they already at this point when it's like a lot of those mass-produced superhero movies, like TV shows, they're just like, cash grabbing things, and it's really hard to find something like actually interesting. And the one like actually interesting like TV show, it's not even TV show, it's like the series. I can't remember, but the um who was the director of Grand Budapest?
Anderson.
Anderson,
Yeah.
yes.
He had the recently really interesting like the series of these shorts on the Netflix, and they all created like novels, and they have like the I think on the cover there's like Benedict Cumberbatch, and they have one and it's this one is like it's I think it's like 15 or 20 minutes per episode, and it's actually the first TV show in the years that I watched that was like I remember it. It's really special, and it's done in such an interesting way. It's it's you just listen to like the novel, and all of others, they are just like this mass produced, or in animation, just like recently what was special is the Blue Eye Samurai. That was like really amazing, and I don't know, all the others are just like all this Disney Pixar stuff. Okay,
Believe
Disney
it
was
or
my client. I
not,
can't talk shit about them, but like what they I mean, you can see like just like it's tax write-off show or something like this. It's-
This must be what I'm gonna say might be a bit controversial, but the reality is all those things that you're mentioning are the minority of what people watch. It's like
yeah,
they are great. Like I fucking love Anderson. It's like it's amazing. I love everything he does. Is amazing to me. And to all the actors that play, because like it's like theatrical, right? It's so
yeah.
beautiful. But I don't think that's what majority of the public
Yeah,
watch.
the major audience.
Exactly. So I do think what is gonna struggle the most is that range of like mainstream, and how to make things for that mainstream is gonna be difficult in a more creative way. We've seen it a little bit with Disney buying every franchise as well, and like those franchises becoming a bit more so, because everything becomes good. Like I think that's what happens. Everything become okay, but nothing becomes excellent. So there's the bar
Yeah,
is always in the middle. So that's why the indifference as well. When you can have all these like okay productions, but nothing stands out, it's when really you're like Patrick, no, I just get bored. I don't get engaged with it because I've seen it so much. Is that line, but then suddenly you see something different, and you're like, what is this? Like a B movie that somebody did somewhere, and suddenly it's more interesting, right? But
yeah, and it's this
but
definition of good. Yeah,
yeah, but the reality is like a lot of these shows, even animation. I'm a huge fan of animation and adult animation. That's We are on the niche here. You know what I'm saying? This is why there's not a lot of animation production for like in the adult level, aside from Rick and Morty and all these like shows that they are very specific, for the audience they seek. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's what I have to say.
yeah, actually, while Anna was talking about like when she said Blue Eyed Samurai, I was like this because I was literally thinking about Blue Eyed Samurai before she even mentioned it.
Mhm.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
an amazing, series. Speaking of series and movies,
Yeah.
Are there any particular suggestions anyone might have, like for us and just anyone who might watch this episode?
Animation,
No,
particularly.
just series, movies, animations, doesn't matter. Anything, any recent like fun thing you watched.
The
I'm
last
blue
season
eyed
of True Detective. Sorry.
What?
I just said the
Last
last
season?
season of True Detective.
Hmm?
The Better Call Saul TV show. Oh my god, it's amazing. The art
Oh,
direction
Better
and
Call
everything.
Saul.
Yeah. I love it so much. It's amazing. Like the
Mhm.
whole show and the art direction and everything is just like chef's kiss.
Yes. Yes.
Do
else?
you have any suggestions?
Well, I'm cliche a little bit, but I love The Boy and the Heron. It had a lasting impact on me. So
Mhm.
Haven't
yeah,
watched it
I
yet.
think it's
What?
The Boy and the Heron.
The Boy and the
Yes.
Heron. It's the newest Studio Ghibli movie. Miyazaki, or more so like a Miyazaki film, not
Mhm.
but it's gorgeous. Also, Dungeon Meshi. It's an anime series.
Yeah.
By Studio Trigger. Oh.
It's kind of funny. Yep. And cameras.
Oh no.
yeah. I also was surprised.
Yeah, but Dungeon Meshi, like I love Studio Trigger's work. So anything they produce is lovely, and
Mm.
highly recommend.
Yeah, I'm watching the Dungeon Meshi. It's like so fun, and the Frieren I'm also watching right now.
Oh, Frieren is great.
Yeah,
Yes.
oh my god, it's so amazing.
Amazing.
Because I mean I watched anime like 10 years ago. Then it was like the full stop and just manga reading and stuff like this. But then started watching anime again, and it's like it's so different from the Western media even right now. That's like
Yeah.
the ideas and everything. It's yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
it's so refreshing to see. I feel like a lot of anime are so experimental with the way they tell stories, and like the style, like exploring the different styles and mixed media even. It's like amazing.
Yeah, and one of my like favorite recent one is like Made in Abyss.
It's my
You won't
favorite.
see this show in Western one. Yeah, I love it so much.
My
I like
favorite anime of all time.
yeah, it's like and the music and everything. I love it so much, but you won't see it in the Western media because it will get heavily censored because like oh no, there's like kids,
Yeah.
and stuff like this.
There's definitely really disturbing imagery in it, but what I love
yeah,
the
but it's
most,
the purpose.
it is the purpose. It's like psychological thriller, but also I just think that the thing I love most about it is like the world building, and also paired with Kevin Penkin's soundtrack
Oh, yes.
design.
I'm listening to it like every time.
Yeah,
It's
you
yeah.
cry.
Yeah, it's like there's no emotional drawing something emotional. It's just like
Yeah. No.
it's really interesting because another thing is like it's the censorship in the Western like the media, and a lot of things that you want to create it will get just trashed like the heavy topics you can't talk about, you can't show it. Even like the recently when the Dune 2 came out, there was like some if you
No
like the
spoilers.
character okay,
Okay, no
I'm not gonna spoil
Yeah.
it, but like
No.
if you like the character you're relating to him, you just like it's like I like the meme because it was funny, not because I was relating to it. It's just it's like this media literacy. It's like the people don't understand that you can produce something and not approve what the character like you can create the bad character, but he can't be racist, he can't be homophobic, he can't be like all other stuff because like it's the line that draws. You can't create the character that depicts like the things that's controversial, even though like this yes he's the bad character, or like that you talk about those stuff. You can't because it's like this topic that became really sensitive, or just even that just the heavy sexual stuff. You can't. It's just like triggering. It's it's really really hard because and a lot of like the manga and a lot of the things that just people take so literally that you're like no, it's like it's just telling the story. The story is heavy. The depiction of is heavy. It doesn't mean like we like it or approve it. We're just watching the story, or just want to tell the story.
Yeah,
That's
it
like the
happened.
other thing.
It happened a similar controversy recently with Warhammer. You know, the franchise Warhammer, that the Warhammer 40K and the
Oh yeah,
anyway, like there was
what
the
controversy?
yeah. It was a controversy that it's like someone like started saying that like it's just so like Nazis and stuff like that, you know, because
No,
it
that was
is
too.
because it is partly the whole reason, you know, of like why the franchise the way it is. Like it's like a critique in a way, you know, and it's like yeah, it suddenly the controversy was like, oh, if you like it, therefore, and it's like, what?
Yes.
No, you know, it's like sometimes this is the thing I do not like because that happens a lot. If social media makes things black and white, there's no grayscale anymore, and like people forget that you can understand a concept and you can watch something without having to agree to it, you know, and it's something that is like, oh, if you actually watch something or like you want to inform yourself in like in a or B way, therefore your opinion is A, B, or C. And it's like that's not necessarily how it is. You know, you as an intelligent person can perfectly understand a concept without having to agree to it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's an entire different conversation going to cancel culture. That is not.
No, it's just it's the same like yeah. Sorry, I have this ADHD thing that like I want to say something to it. It's just like the same with the Helldivers too. That's like a lot of people like right now play and enjoy, and you know this whole the hype around the because it's the depiction of fascism. You know, just like you're the it's you're just the warrior, just like it's. But the people, some people just like if you're enjoying it and if you're like playing along, that means you're like you like the fascism or like you know you just like those stuff. Like no, it's a escapism. You're just having fun. You can it doesn't mean like I'm agreeing with those stuff. I'm just it's the game, and you have fun having game and the participating in this fantasy. You know, if you create in the D&D character who's the killer, like this stuff, it doesn't mean you're like
a murderer.
A murderer.
So that's funny because the Helldivers example is especially good. It's a problem entirely of, I would say, of our own making, because we speak in general terms. Who takes these midwits seriously that propose something like that you because you enjoy a caricature of some vaguely fascist militaristic society, and that acts as a catharsis, because you know that the reason why people find Helldivers funny is because it's so over the top ridiculous. And same thing goes for Warhammer. And if you have some brain cells linked together, you don't have to explain that to somebody. And we don't have to do that over and over again. These midwits, I know where they're coming from, because I was thinking, how long is it till somebody at university will make a thesis about the sexual connotations of team reloading missile launchers in Helldiver?
Oh my god!
It will come.
I'm waiting.
We have to treat this as what it is. It is. If I read those articles like this, I see them as entertainment and fun and stupid, and also the gender blah 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 blah. I've seen it all. That's the midwits. They create this stuff because they have nothing better to do.
Yeah,
and we don't have to take them seriously. So I play Helldivers. I wish the army days were like this. It was very boring. So I would have loved to run through forests screaming about democracy, but it isn't nothing like that, and everybody knows it.
Yeah. It's just you're just having fun. It's just like community, the democracy. But there's some like party poopers. Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing you could do for your mental health today is delete Twitter. Delete Twitter. Just follow wholesome accounts on Instagram if you want to have it. Like, I follow so many wholesome accounts about dogs.
Cats?
Yes, it's like it's the best thing because honestly, I stay away out of like all of these conversations. I don't want to hear tech bros. I don't want to hear all these people criticizing franchises for what they are. It's just like it just makes no sense. So stay away from all these things, and you will be a happier person. It's like, I think that's
Couldn't
probably
have
a
said
good
it better.
advice.
Yeah. Luhan, what about you? Any movies or series suggestions?
I just watched Dune Part 2 yesterday in 70 millimeter. So it was amazing. Denis Villeneuve, I mean, pride of Quebec, so gotta support too. But like, wow, he's such an amazing filmmaker. I think like his sense of scale or the sense of scale of Dune Part 2 was like, wow. Like I can't even. Yeah, it's a gorgeous film. So that's what I watched recently, and also watched the new Avatar live action, like Avatar the Last Airbender.
Ooh, how was
I
that?
oh, I don't know if you guys watched it, so I'll try to not spoil anything. But I think that kind of links to like the discussion that we just had, like of the thinking that the audience would believe and take everything seriously. I think my biggest issue of the live action of Avatar, first of all, it's way better than the movie that shall not exist or be named ever.
Which movie?
Exactly. I don't know what I'm saying. Actually,
What?
I'm doing delusional. There's no movie. It's way better. But I think something that bothered me with this one is the fact that for some reason they think that the audience is too stupid to get the fact that Aang is young and is kind of afraid of his duties as the Avatar. So throughout like I feel like every single episode, there's always a sentence of like, I ran away, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know if I can do well, like I don't know if I can achieve my duty or my role as the Avatar. And I'm just like, I understand, sir. I truly understand that you're a child and you cannot be the Avatar, but
But this
like
is a
let's
Wendy's parking lot.
exactly.
Like now that you mentioned that, my favorite thing that I watched, like if I can remember that the recent years, is the movie that they did of Ghost in the Shell,
Ah,
the adaptation, right?
yeah.
My favorite thing was at the very beginning of the movie, very beginning, they're looking at her and somebody says, "It's a ghost in a shell." I swear to you, I remember that moment because I cracked laughing in the cinema because I went to the cinema to watch it, and I'm like, "Okay, thank you so much for
That's great.
saying openly what she is. Thank you."
They're just spoon feeding you, like, here you go, it's the Ghost in the Shell.
It's like, Jesus Christ, guys.
They said the movie name. They said the movie
They
name.
said the name of the movie
Yeah,
directly.
they
I was like,
said.
okay.
Take a shot.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Cheers. Anyway.
Show and not tell in movies. Like, I think that's so important. It's just like, yeah. I haven't watched all of the new live action Avatar series yet, but I just really hope that they don't like blatantly just tell all the story and the narration, and instead like create indications of like what the characters are thinking and lead us to. I guess I don't know how to explain, but I mean I'm very excited to watch it when I get to.
Yeah, just they don't skip the character growth, because from what I've seen, they're just like, just delete all the, the problematic thing that character has to go through and grow. They just. I haven't watched it. I just saw Twitter feed, and I already have a bit of negative perception of this show.
Delete Twitter. Delete it.
Yeah, can't. There's
Bye. Bye, Twitter.
just
No,
just
no.
stop scrolling Twitter. Just post, get out,
Yeah.
and you'll be entitled artist with a big following who doesn't even answer the comments.
I would
Just go.
disagree. I refuse to leave Twitter because of those people there. I made it a basic rule of myself on Twitter, or X especially, to not engage in any argument and not present my political views about something, except if I really want, and it turns out I don't really want. And
If I wanted
all
to,
this-
yeah.
and so if I think about it, in both platforms, Instagram and X, I never referred to myself as artist even once, if I think correctly. So just don't get into these headspaces and terminologies. Artists, especially on self-labeling artists, I have to say, they also don't have the best takes on situations, in my opinion, and that includes possibly myself. If I start in and ramble about everything, and I know so much better we should deindustrialize and use sailing ships because of CO2, because the poor population would really be helped by deindustrialization on a grand scale. So no, that's not going anywhere. I look at art, or what I consider art, without naming it art, pictures, things I like. I engage with people I like, and the same on Instagram. And it turns out it's nothing but the most pleasant experience so far. These comments, these people leech off this negative energy. If you strike back, they are even more emboldened, And if you don't give it to them, they are literally not there. And I refuse to leave any platform because of some idiots that I don't even notice at the end of the day.
Yeah, if I want to post something, I just save it to drafts, then come back to it in 2 hours. I'm like, no, I actually don't need to post it, and then you just don't engage it at all.
If you're drunk, you don't use social media because
actually,
yes. a lot of the people they are posting, I have the impression they are actually drunk. It's not
okay. I'm guilty about.
That would be.
If you see it that way, it's not as if you see a drunken person in real life rambling about things, you don't take it seriously, and you shouldn't on Twitter, because I always see if somebody really goes off, I see it like that. Drunk already at this time of the day.
That's a really nice way to perceive the Twitter. All of them not drunk.
Yeah. So you don't take the drunk seriously in real life, and you shouldn't online either.
That's a good point.
Dude, I would love to see you in a debate. I have a feeling that you would be a killer debater. You would absolutely annihilate your opponent.
I don't enjoy that very much, but I had this reputation in university. I didn't know it, but
no, you just roast people so politely, it's amazing. That's a really nice skill.
Sometimes they're really, really asking for it, and then it's justified, I'd say.
Awesome.
But on the other side, I don't enjoy fighting with people most of the time.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not fighting. I'm not talking about fighting. I'm just debating. No, it's different, of course.
Yeah. Fair point.
Someone wanted to say something, I think. I interrupted. Anna, was that you?
No.
Luhan? All right. Any? All right. So I think this was a good podcast, right? And we can all unmute our mics, by the way, right now, because we're not in that mode anymore. So
it's time to sing.
Oh yeah.
Finally.
I can't. I got a noise complaint from my neighbor a week ago. I can't talk that much. Yeah, actually, true story. So yeah. I hope everyone who tuned in and watched this podcast enjoyed this new format and things. I actually made a huge oopsie. In the OBS, when you add the display capture, you have multiple options. I chose the wrong option, which was capture display the whole entire screen. I should have chosen to capture only this chat. So during this, I wanted to search up and Google and write a lot of things during our conversation, and I couldn't. because I remember, even though I'm drunk, I'm still conscious about this. That if I get out of full screen mode, it will show everything that's on my screen to the podcast, and it will mess up the podcast. And I didn't, and I'm proud of myself for that. And thanks for the clap.
Yeah, I know the struggle with the recording of your speed paint.
Oh yeah.
What is that? Wait, I heard something.
Yeah, let's
Oh,
try this.
gosh.
Wait, there's so many soundboards. Jesus, you can even add your custom soundboards.
Nice.
All right, so
Oh no! Oh.
oh no, don't.
What was that?
No.
Those are wrong ones from the naughty servers. No. Wait, you have Discord Premium that you can share
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
And I pay for it myself.
Now these upper class people.
Asterion one, nice.
Yeah. Oh no! Please.
You have a lot of Asterion ones. That's kind of questionable. All right.
Okay, listen.
All right.
Now the tax collector in Germany is all of a sudden very interested in checking on you.
I write off my Discord because it's a tax write-off. Discord neutral. Because it's you talk with the clients and I guess I haven't been spotted. I mean,
There was a funny story with a friend of mine's mother has a business, a little bit bigger one, and she called the Ministry of Finances about tax stuff one day, and they literally told her she can do whatever she wants. She can even trade weapons if the number down the line matches. So
Interesting.
that's their mind space.
All right, so just to wrap up this episode, if anyone has any parting words or things to want to say, now is the time. I'm gonna mute my mic.
It was great talking to y'all. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hopefully
it
we'll
was
do tomorrow.
awesome.
Actually, here's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely do this more in the future. And please let me know any comments or suggestions down in the comment section down below. By the way, I want to make this YouTube exclusive. Like, I don't want to make it audio, because it's kind of like with the one-on-one podcast. Like, sure, I can make them audio and it makes sense because it's a kind of one-on-one conversation. But this, I don't know. Like, it would lose all its charm if it's just audio. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just gonna keep it like YouTube only. And recently, actually, my YouTube channel hit 1K subscribers. So thank you to. I didn't make a 1K subscriber special. I know. I will. I'm sorry. But yeah. So if you want to see more of this, then definitely subscribe. Yeah. What are you waiting for? I don't want to be one of those pretentious YouTubers, but like this, share, subscribe, like whatever.
one push-up per one subscriber.
No, BB,
No.
you have to subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast.
Subscribe to
This
Subscribe.
video was sponsored by.
Yes.
NordVPN. Oh, please, I worked for them. Yeah, I did some icons for the Raid Shadow Legends.
Your lore is getting more deeper as we move on. First, there was
I worked for them before they, in 2018, before they released. Then they got higher, and then I recently also did. So there are a lot of game character icons that I painted. So
interesting.
I tried to play it, but I can't because it's
It's a gacha game.
yeah,
Let's
and I
talk
already
about
have a few gacha games. But yeah.
All right then. I guess that's about it. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.